Oh my god, Deku, you are so, like, the king of getting there right as everything else has gone to crap. Like, what's up, guys? Welcome to the newest episode of My Hero Academia. And, well, everything goes down with this. Let's get started. So this episode was called Lemillion, and I am just, like, brimming about what happened because, oh my god, this is, like, I already knew after the sports festival with the second season of My Hero Academia that plot armor was really not a thing with these characters. They had no problem making Deku lose. They had no problem injuring our main character, injuring the hero with All Might with Season 3. So, like, I knew plot armor wasn't a thing. But this episode, man, like, it's not fair. Let's just get into it, my god. So at the opening of the episode, of course, we now learn that the container that Overhaul had, that container holds the finished product for his master plan. And that finished product is a 100% Quark destroying drug. And so, yeah, you can see where this is going, because previously the drug only kind of damaged the Quark and disabled it for about 2 days or so, and this one completely annihilates it. It makes the user powerless. Anyway, at the start of the episode, we end up having the two members of the League of Villains who are sent over working with the Yakuza. We have them kind of learning about each other. Not really learning about each other, but we have the two League of Villains members being... Somebody's quirk can basically force them to answer any question. He's like the truth serum Quark. And so they completely spell out exactly what their powers are to the Yakuza so that they know how to utilize it properly. This is, keep in mind, before all the stuff with the pissing off the one dude in the walls to make him sort of treat the League of Villains as an enemy along with the remaining members of the Night Eye Agency. They completely spell out what their quirks are so that the Yakuza can work with them, or at least know what their abilities are, for better or for worse. But what I find interesting is the fact that one of the questions that was asked was, do you know anything about your boss betraying us? And they said no, which is technically correct because he's not betraying them. The two who are there are. So I figured that's kind of clever if that's what they were getting at. Because, yeah, I mean, technically they're not wrong. And yeah, after that, Overhaul kind of just gives them like the you can do whatever you want once I trust you more, which I don't think that ever really happened. And on top of that, now we get back to the Night Eye Agency, well, all the heroes raiding the Hisaikai. And we finally find where this dude is hiding up in the walls. Deku kicks a hole in the wall. And with that, Eraserhead's able to disable his quirk. So all the ground and everything moving around is no longer an issue. He just stops that entirely, which is great. And then they've detained one more of the members of the Hisaikai. Good for them. Got some really harsh light coming in from the side there. And of course, he's completely useless at this point because he's been enraged and just like not really worth anything because he's just lost his mind after the two League of Villains members just like completely pissed him off. But yeah, so they catch him, they detain him. But then we get to Lemillion facing off against Overhaul. Lemillion facing off against Overhaul is probably one of the most tense scenes. Like, obviously I don't do reactions anymore. And when I don't do reactions, I tend to sit quietly and watch and try to observe. I was on the edge of my freaking seat watching this because it was, like, the stakes were so freaking high. Because now that we know that the Quark destroying drug was on the table, we knew what the risks were. But also, we now get to see fully what both Mirio and what Overhaul's capabilities are. And they are both incredibly powerful and incredibly terrifying. So Mirio makes it to Overhaul first, and Overhaul remarks that he was not expecting anybody to make it that quickly. Well, obviously Mirio can go through walls, and then the dude who is, Mr. Truth Serum, he ended up having Mirio explain entirely what his quirk was and how he was able to get there. So now they kind of have an idea of what his abilities are and how they can fight him. But what's incredible is the fact that Mirio, actually manages to get some damage, lay some hits in on Overhaul, who obviously doesn't like to be touched in any way. And we actually see more so now that Mirio is obviously trying to be Ares' hero at any cost. But we also see, rather, that Overhaul sees, of course, he has the whole disease thing, which is why he's got the plague mask, but he doesn't just feel like the world is diseased, he doesn't want things to get dirty. He completely sees the world in terms of like the heroes in the world as a disease as well. This dude is intense. Oh yeah, I almost forgot until I watched my preview screen over there. We have the drunk guy who can screw up people's sense of balance, which is kind of funny, but it's crazy because I guess with the way that Mirio kind of has to activate his powers, like the way his powers work, he is constantly he's sort of constantly feels something worse than. I didn't quite understand his explanation of how he overcame it, but yeah, he definitely didn't have much of a problem dealing with the misbalance after a couple minutes, so whatever. Okay, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to get straight into it because going over these little details leading up to everything is just going to drive me nuts. So, with the ability that Mirio has, he is able to, in very short order, deal with these Hisaikai members, lay a hit in on Overhaul, and on top of that, take Eri from them. So he is able to deal with everybody very quickly and lay a hit in on Overhaul, take Eri, and this is where Overhaul starts to get serious. Of course, he doesn't like being called by his name Chisaki, so every time Lemillion would use that, he would just get more and more angry, and we see him like completely blast the floor to pieces, turn it into spikes, and it's up to Mirio now at this point to sort of keep Eri safe. He actually uses his ability to hold Eri up above everybody and not drop her or have her get stabbed. But he can, of course, take the hits because they just go right through him. It's easy. We also find out that the horrific things that Overhaul can do, the breaking people, taking them apart, putting them back together, he presumably, it sounds like, has done that many times with poor Eri. So that just sets Mirio off even more. And this is where he just takes everyone, like he takes everyone on fearlessly, has a great handle on it. I can't talk enough about just how awesome, like watching that, I watched it over and over. I'm not going to repeat it over and over, but I've watched it over and over. We also see how clever Mirio is, because after he takes Eri and kind of covers her up with his cape, they still think that he's over behind the cape, which, when they fire at him, was kind of correct, but he's able to tear his cape off, leave it, and then go attack them while keeping Eri protected. But that does, at a certain point, kind of spell disaster for him towards the end. And during the fight, what's really cool is how, like, we see, obviously, previously, we saw how his fighting worked with Deku and with the rest of Class 1A, but seeing him up against villains, like, kicking through Eri's head and kicking the other guy in the face to steal Eri back, jumping around, all that stuff, it's awesome. But apparently, with everything that he did, he didn't completely take out all of the members, or he didn't take them out entirely. They were still active. Like, they got up and they were still sort of moving around, and this is where the plot armor part just doesn't happen. Oh my god. So as this is all happening, of course, we have Mirio sort of trying to make up for what he wasn't able to do for Eri previously, and you can see in her face that she understands that. She understands what he's aiming for, what he's trying to do, which is awesome, but at all costs, he is doing his best to save her. At all costs, meaning that when one of the Hisaikai members is up, or not up, but kind of active again, he is given one bullet, one shot, one chance to stop Mirio. And so he goes and aims at Eri. And because of that, Mirio jumps in front and takes the bullet and completely loses his ability. He now has that incredible quirk completely taken away. He's not able to do what he did before. He has no permeation quirk at all whatsoever. Like, gone. In fact, he gets stabbed a few times afterwards. Oh my god. I'm realizing now as well that I said earlier, like, what would happen if that were to happen, and now we have it happening. So I don't know what's gonna happen. What really got me, and it sort of shows that he and Deku and All Might, like, there are characteristics and traits that these heroes who are worthy of the top spots as heroes have, apart from just raw power, which is their ability to face anything with a smile on their face so that the people facing off against them don't see their fear, but also so that the people they're saving understand that they are happy to do what they're doing and they are calmer as a result. And when Mirio dives in to save Eri, he has a smile on his face, and that is just that got me hard watching that happen. So it's not right, man. It's not right. And on top of that, with him losing his power, just like in Fairy Tail when something dramatic happens, this is just true Fairy Tail style, we get all of these different flashbacks to Mirio learning, Mirio getting his quirk, and even his dad saying, like, I'll support you, but, you know, our quirk type is very difficult, you know, like, it's difficult to manage, it's not common, but with that, he decides he wants to be a hero anyway. We get these flashbacks of him learning, him failing, and eventually becoming the hero he is now. And yeah, like full flashbacks of him learning how to use his quirk, him falling through the floor at his own house, which was kind of funny. But yeah, all of that, he just, like, here's your flashback. He doesn't have his powers anymore. It's this moment right here that happens. And there's the smile. That just... Yep, there's his hit. All right, anyway, I saw that happening in my preview screen, so I figured I would go back and kind of just go over it. The one really cool thing that happened after he loses his ability is the fact that he still fights. The power he has, just raw strength alone, even without his permeation ability, is nuts. He continues to fight. And even injured and even not being able to do what he normally does, holy crap. Like, he could modify his fight ability so that instead of, like, passing through people to punch them in the face, he just dodges. He's extremely capable, extremely flexible. In fact, it's funny because even at one point, I think they even question whether or not he's human. Like, he is that just powerful. It's nuts. Even with all that, he's still now not nearly as much of a match as he could have been for this group. But right at the very end, as he is on the edge of defeat, Deku finally bursts in to help. Too little, too late, my man. You should have been there significantly sooner. I'm not going to blame you for him losing his powers, but man, it could have really been more helpful sooner. And that's the episode. Now we get to see, I guess, Deku facing off against Overhaul, who seems to be fusing or something, or disassembling or something with his little posse there. So I don't know what he's going to be doing next episode, but we definitely see Deku going all out. I could see that happening. We have Overhaul obviously going all out. So I'm really excited to see what happens next episode, because seeing Deku facing off against this, now that Mirio is not capable of really, like, helping as much, because he's hurt now. Like, he could have helped quite a bit, I'm sure, when he was not injured but had no quirk. But, oh man, I love this show. But, like, I'm so used to a lot of shows having plot armor, like Fairy Tail, that when something massive like this happens, especially to a character that we were only recently really introduced to, like, they spent a lot of time they introduced him in a way, but we spent a ton of time in this season, and a good portion of the later portion of that last season, learning about Mirio. But the way they built and developed his character, they really did a really good job of it. But man, like, the fact that it's like, here's a new character and he's powerless. That's rough. That's real rough, but I enjoy it because it actually means that the stakes are high for a lot of these characters. You know, it's possible that they can get injured. They're not infallible or immortal. We've lost All Might now. Deku is extremely injured and had to completely change his style as a result. And now Mirio doesn't have powers, like, at all. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a major character death coming up. I don't know who would die. Like, we may lose Fat Gum, or might lose... I don't think we're going to lose any of the students, but my God. Like, I would not be surprised if character deaths are on the table in this season now after that. Like, geez. Either way, guys, I really do hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a rough one. It was a fun one, though, and I was on the edge of my seat. So I'm very excited to see what they'll do for next episode. I want to see a Deku full out using, like, everything he can to fight off against whatever is going on or whatever is going to happen with freaking Overhaul and, I guess, fusing or pulling parts from his posse or whatever. So yeah, I'm excited. But like I said, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Last episode is up at this point as well, so go check that out. And apart from that, I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure to be there and have a good one. Hey guys, just hopping in at the end here. Thanks for watching through the whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. I do still have merch. I've actually had it for quite a while, but not a lot of people know about it or care. And so if you guys want to support me or check it out just because it looks cool, go to the link in the description. You can see some of the designs I have, like the Steel Frodo in Steins Gate design, or even the Mob Psycho 100 design, and maybe even buy one if you like it, or don't. I cried myself to sleep at night anyway. So either way, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.